Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing today? What's Miss Sandy been talking to you guys about in their children's sermons lately? Music, right? Songs. A lot of older songs like 19th century kids' church music, right? I hate to disappoint you. I'm not an expert on that kind of stuff. So today I'm not going to talk to you guys about music. I'm going to save that for Miss Sandy, okay? What do I usually talk about in my children's sermons when I talk with you guys? Games, right? So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. Does that surprise you? Probably not, right? So today I want to talk to you about keeping score, okay? When you play games, you usually keep score, right? So if you're playing kickball or baseball, how do you keep score? Who wins? Yeah, whoever scores the most runs, right? Or in football, whoever scores the most touchdowns. Let's say you're out on the playground and you want to have a relay race with your friends. How do you figure out who wins? Right, whoever crosses the finish line first. Did you ever play the game Monopoly? Anybody ever play Monopoly? Yeah? How do you win? If you want to keep score in that game, how do you win? Who wins? Right, whoever has the most money at the end, okay? So today, what I want you to think about is think about our life as if it were a game, okay? So in life, if life was a game, how do we keep score? How do we know if we're winning or not? If you don't steal, kindness, okay. How do you measure that though? That's a hard thing to measure, isn't it? So some people in life, if they have fancy house, lots of cars in the garage, they get to go on nice vacations, they count up how many times they get to go to Disney, and that's how they measure whether they're winning or not, right? That's how they measure success. Some people, they think about how other people around them perceive them, right? How much recognition and prestige they have, and they think like, if people think a lot about me, if they have a high opinion of me, then that's success, okay? And some people think that they can score points with God, like coming to church. Like God's keeping score up there, right? Okay, you came to church today, you get 2 points. Just like in basketball, when you shoot a hoop, you get 2 points. And you did something kind, you helped the lady, you get 5 points. Do you think God keeps score like that? Maybe. I used to think that too when I was a kid. I would often think about, is God keeping a tally thing and I got to score a certain amount of points to win and get to heaven, okay? But the reality is God doesn't keep score. Have you ever heard the term God is love? You guys ever heard that term? Somebody say that? God is love? Well, think about God's love like the amount of water in the ocean. If you wanted to keep score and count the drops of water in the ocean, you think you could do that? It's like an insane amount, right? You can't even think about a number that high. Or how about if you went to the beach and you tried to count all the grains of sand on the beach? You think you could count every single little grain of sand? No, right? Nobody could count that high. Well, that's how we got to think about God's love. It's such a big number, we can't keep score, right? So trying to measure success or trying to measure God's love, we got to think completely differently. We got to think about keeping score completely differently. We're playing a different kind of game. As Christians, we're not playing the same game as everybody else, and we got to think about keeping score differently, right? The reality is God doesn't really keep score. And so when I did children's sermons for you guys last winter, we talked about a lot of different games and lessons we can learn from playing games, right? You guys inspired me. And I started a little game shop down the street. And a lot of people have come up and asked me, like, how's it going? And I have a really hard time answering that question. Because I have to think about, well, how am I keeping score, right? When most people start a business, it's like Monopoly. They keep score by how much money they're making. And if they're making a lot of money, then they're winning, right? But I'm thinking about it differently because that's not my goal, okay? As Christians, we got to think about it differently. My goal with my game shop is to spread God's love, okay? That's a hard thing to measure, just like counting the drops of water in the ocean or the grains of sand on the beach. So when somebody asks me that question, I have to think, okay, wait a minute. Am I measuring it the way they're probably measuring it? Or the way they think, success, what they think success is? Or am I measuring it the way I think about success? And so I have a hard time answering that question sometimes. But let me tell you about some cool stuff that's been going on. I've made a whole bunch of new friends by playing games with them. And I've made other people get to know each other, like they've got to get to learn the new people, they've got to meet new people. I got to build relationships and deeper relationships with people that I already knew. So what do you think about that? Does that sound like success? It does to me too, right? And so to me, it's been a great success. And because we're able to spread God's love and we're able to help people build friendships and things like that. But that's a hard thing to put a number on, right? Just like counting the sand on the beach. It's something that's hard to put a number on. So that's our challenge, and that's my challenge to you guys, okay? When you think about life, don't always think about keeping score, okay? Because keeping score is not always the most important thing. And winning, in God's way of thinking, is a little bit different about winning in the way the world thinks. Does that make sense? All right, let's say a little prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful day and for bringing us here together. And help us to remember as we go forward that the way we think about life and our goals and how we measure success needs to be a little different than the way the world thinks. Help us to go out each day and spread your love and build friendships and meet new people and spread love and joy and happiness throughout the world. Amen.